Furthermore, that is where the story started. I know a few people who work by and by with Clyde Davis, and they needed to leave them before they heard him. Clive Davis, the web around him, the organization that he's made, it's an organization of fiendish period. Apparently today is the day we dig into the cloudy profundities of Hollywood obscure, underside all that from wild gatherings to unlawful hookups, has been seen by those functioning in this field. Clyde Davis, an unbelievable record maker, is known for going to probably the raunchiest gatherings throughout the entire existence of the music business. Clyde Davis and Diddy have been dating secretively for north of 5 years, affirming long stretches of hypothesis. While examining Diddy, one should recognize the enormous achievement he has accomplished. Disco Terrible Kid, you should be know all about it, working with celebrities like infamous Large and Usher, pushed his organization to unexpected phenomenon. Yet what precisely is the origin story of the man Puma Right is dishing the soil on Puff Daddy's industry predominance riches and more lashin' people, since things are going to get succulent puffy moving around, you know. Yet he got that inventory, he got that list, and he's been bringing in cash off of it, and it purchased that monstrous house down the road from Assault Focal. We have within scoop on the most recent music industry embarrassment. How did a youthful performer become so well known so rapidly? His companionship with music industry symbol Clyde Davis might hold the key. Clyde Davis is a notable figure in the contemporary music industry, yet presently he's renowned for something else entirely: his adoration life. In the wake of encountering two bombed relationships, Clive set out on a journey to find his sexual direction, and appears to have studied himself than simply his inclinations. I opened up myself after the disappointment of my subsequent marriage, never having had anything with the man, to see might I at any point be drawn to the individual, and not the orientation. This reflection drove him to the end that he wasn't quite so straight as he had naturally suspected he was for the past 50 years. And I found that I could be drawn to a man, while I actually am exceptionally drawn to a lady. In the wake of reaching this resolution, Clive concluded it was the ideal opportunity for him to settle down with a man. Then in 1990, he went into a monogamous relationship with an anonymous male specialist. That relationship finished in 2004. Clyde guarantees he's never felt any disgrace for caring deeply about different men. I never felt disgrace. No, I felt confused. The subject of sexual openness actually needs significantly more conversation. A status exists. Clyde Davis has been in a monogamous relationship with a strange person for quite a long time, and presently it has been uncovered that the man is, in all honesty, the notable music big shot. Diddy, the music business, has been known to deliver a few wild stories. Yet this one takes the cake. P. Diddy, known as Puff Daddy, supposedly in 1994 scene searches mentioned offering sexual courtesies to Clive Davis. So Terrible Kid Records could be what Clive has been hitched 2 times and separated once. Is interested about his affections for male accomplices. After that he began dating a mysterious man, and they were still attached. Fly, then his secret sidekick, showed up at parties and on trips together, yet he not even once driven on who he was with. However, it didn't take long for the general population to draw an obvious conclusion and distinguish Diddy as the suspect. Assuming you focus on a ton of pictures, particularly with Clive and Diddy, is in a ton of spots that Clive is in. The way that Clive and Diddy are both all over town as a team says a lot, regardless of whether the way that they are continuous occasion participants and dear companions probably won't be sufficient to affirm a relationship. Clearly, the two have known one another for quite a while and have an exceptional security. And it's fascinating to hypothesize on how that might have added to Diddy's outcome in the music business. Not something just popped, into my brain one day. I've known since I was a kid that I enjoyed people, and a ton of men feel that they are sexually unbiased. Diddy and Clyde's fellowship has been notable for quite a long time. The chances of Clive and Diddy getting together are probably essentially as logical as seeing Sneak Homie At a wheat celebration, what might Clyde being in a serious relationship with a man? And Diddy being supposed to be gay Clyde has never denied the tales, and his transparency about his sexuality and connections just adds weight to them. And Diddy, he simply hasn't let out the slightest peep about it. When Diddy was 23 years of age, he met the unbelievable music chief Clyde Davis. Get his hip jump thoughts, wild Clyde. In spite of the savage contest they looked in the business, Clive reviews how he had been searching for a craftsman with certified individuals. Two individuals attaches preceding their most memorable gathering. Luckily, he had the option to find his ideal accomplice in Diddy Tuffy, was 23 years of age. And I knew the craftsman that I had Aretha D and Whitney was one sort of music, Davis says, let face introduced Blue Nat R and B at its level, yet detecting the hip jump transformation, both Ella Reid. And I concurred that we could utilize somebody truly sensitive to the road. You must understand how you can help yourself. And you got to know when you want to shift focus over to others. Supposedly Diddy was a worker at Uptown Beckards, who answered to Andrew Lobby. When he met Clyde Davis anyway, everything changed by Clive's memory. He had the option to convince him with his words. When I met with Puffy, he verbalized that hip jump ought to be essential for the main 40 standard, and that the business would change from here on out. And I expressed out loud, whatever have you got to delineate that point? And he played me box Max Flava in your ear. And he played me the then obscure craftsman that he felt and accepted so unequivocally. He played me 4 or 5 cuts from famous huge Clive. Evidently considered this to be a sizable amount of proof to persuade him regarding the benefits of his arrangement, since he informed Diddy, as much I said, oh, you made your statement. That is the point at which I acquainted him with the week by week, what we assembled singles conferences. I acquainted him with a leader there as somebody who might assist with driving us to the road and offer, in the approaching hip jump unrest, put the brakes on before we follow up on these stunning allegations. Clyde Davis, unmistakable quality in the music business, is commonly known anyway little, is realized about his confidential life. Well, subsequent to getting hitched 2 times in separate, Sing the twice he figured the time had come to sort out whether or not he was even drawn to men. And with who do you think he at last subsided into a serious monogamous relationship? Who else yet Puff Daddy? Currently certain individuals have estimated for a really long time concerning how could he turned out to find actual success so quickly, yet since their association with Clyde has been affirmed it's not difficult to see the